Welcome to Can Angels Fly. I'm Nancy, and I'm here to work on, I guess it'll be a series, on the topic of descent into hell. There are so many different parts to the descent to hell that it's difficult for me to create a single video. I tried. So I've decided to tackle the subject of the descent to hell in multiple videos. I already have 2 attempts published. One is entitled Descent to Hell. The next attempt, which is a little better, is titled Descent to Hell. All that glitters ain't gold. Descent to hell. But after watching the videos, I understand that people still most likely don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to have to take it in bits and pieces. Yes, this is a tarot reading channel. But for me, tarot reading is not entertainment. Now, it can be categorized as entertainment if someone or some institution likes, but this is serious business for me, as is astrology and astronomy. Serious business to me. So when I make these extra videos, they are a supplement to any tarot reading information I could ever offer you. Most of the readings that I do are really hardcore, really is. I have the great taskmaster over me, Saturn. So you can just imagine. If there was something really sweet and cuddly for me to tell you, of course I would. But much of what I see is that we are being given direction on how we can become better beings. And sometimes, it seems most times, it kind of comes through difficulty. And it is attempting, what is attempting? Universe, God, all is attempting to keep us from descending into hell, into complete chaos and utter devastation. So I'm telling you what I see. Anyway, for this part of the series, I think I'll entitle it Paradise Garden. Paradise Garden. Staying with religion, I guess. What do I mean by Paradise Garden? I've made a few videos that talk about this world as being a self-contained, efficient ecosystem. Anything a living being needs is here. The bare basics exist here. The way we are built, we need to breathe. We have air. The way our bodies are built, we need water. We have that as well. Our bodies are pretty fragile. So we have healing or medicinal plant life. It's here. What else do we need? We need food. It's here. And I bring these things up because those bare basics that exist readily available here in this world are one of the reasons that if we don't watch it, might descend to hell. It's not so much that they exist as other things do here. It's that we've lost, we who, me, you, and every individual in humanity has lost the awareness of the relevance and the importance of these things. And what have we lost our awareness to? Well, we've lost our awareness that we live in a paradise, a self-contained, efficient ecosystem to a man-made system. Now, the way the man-made system was created over time, over hundreds of years, yes, hundreds of years. The knowledge of the importance of our ecosystem was handed down from one generation to the next, in particular families, while washing away the remembrance of the relevance and importance of our self-contained ecosystem and the rules that apply to this realm. And not only did they wash away the remembrance and the understanding of the relevance and importance of our natural system, they also replaced it. And when they replaced the system, as they were replacing the system, they were removing your awareness, our awareness, every individual in humanity. That water's right outside. They removed it. And they laid pipelines down and then began to run it through refineries and then to sell it to you, whether it's your home water bill or in a bottle. And the reason why they came up with that idea is because of all the contaminants that have been forced into the natural waters through all the technical advances in this world. They who, we can say Illuminati if you like, but I'm gonna just keep it moving. They took your awareness and remembrance that a food is a plant, and many of them, like carrots, are weeds. They grow right outside. They took your awareness, and they also seized control of the food supply. And what they couldn't seize and contain so that they can sell it to you and I, they destroyed. More contamination. And there's a reason that this process has been taking place, because some people, maybe the Illuminati members, knew that if they took control of the natural resources that you need to sustain your life, then you would bend to their will. Now, this video is about what I call it, Paradise Garden. Okay. So, let me see if I can go back. Originally, at some point in time during the history in humanity, this was a paradise. It was plush. You can go outside and pick an apple or a pear off the tree. Some streams you could go drink straight out of, or whatever the case may be. Pull up a wild weed, and on the other end was a carrot. You didn't have to go to the grocery store and buy it. Buy it with what back then? That group of people, maybe the Illuminati, created a monetary system. And that monetary system, money, now they're making it called Bitcoin or something. Uh, in order for you to get that from them, they said, I want you to go dig up all them carrots and bring them to me. And I'm going to give you some money. And that's what many of us did. We went and dug up the carrots or, pulled all the pears off the tree and took it over to them. And they gave us some money. And then they told us, hey, you hungry? Guess what? You can buy it back. You thirsty? You can pay for it. Okay, we began to do that. What else were they doing? That group, maybe the Illuminati or some members, associated with them. They were also genetically modifying the foods so that they wouldn't yield seeds. So once you went to the store or paid the water bill and you got your water with the money that you earned from going to pull it up and give it to them or harvesting it, what happened? When you got the fruit, when you opened up the pear or the apple, we found less and less seeds. Because that you could have took those seeds, went on outside, threw them in the yard, apple after apple, pear after pear. And in an appropriate season, they would have came up. You would have yielded some fruit. And that same fruit that would have came up in your yard, guess what? As you was eating on that, threw the seeds out in the yard, piece after piece, those in the next season would have come up. It is a self-sustaining ecosystem we live in. But no. Those folks genetically modified all the fruits and vegetables that yield naturally. So yeah, you can go buy one pear, but you won't find fertile seed in those fruits. Now, what I'm pointing out here and trying to parallel is that we were brought into a self-contained, efficient ecosystem. We were bamboozled by a particular group. Like I said, we can call it the Illuminati members or something like that. We'll get into that somewhere along the series. And they genetically modified the food in order not to yield and gave you paper money for your work for helping them harvest it. And now every day, this is where we are. Every day we have to go to work in order to go to those folks, those members, and buy just a little bit of fruit, a little bit of meat, or a little bit of something to drink. Because if we don't, we will die of hunger and thirst. We have continued to do that with every life-sustaining resource that we need here on this earth. That was originally offered to us by this earth freely. Now, I'm not ignorant. I know it took a whole lot of hard work, to do all of that work. See, somebody might have got a bit lazy. And why I say that is because, again, that's a whole lot of work over here within this self-contained ecosystem. We did have to do something. And we who, me, you, everybody that ever existed thus far, permitted this special little group, this elite group, to bamboozle us into digging up all the natural resources that we needed to sustain our lives that were free. All we had to do was work and till the land and whatever else. And they were able to say, hey, just dig it up and bring it over to us, and we're going to give you some paper money. Oh, you're hungry. You're thirsty. Well, bring me that paper money back over here, and I'm going to just give you a little portion. Somewhere in between, somebody got lazy and didn't want to do the work. So where are we now? Why do I say, and why am I covering the topic of descending into hell? Let's think about a hell state for a moment. What could be a hell state? Some unforeseen event happens and you lose your job. Now you can't go work for the people that have hired you, those members. That means that they're not going to give you any of their paper, that you need to go to them to buy some of the resources that you dug up and gave over to them. You can't buy the water or anything like that. What's going to happen? Yeah, starvation eventually, if it continues long enough. Because these things that we are moving for every day, moving to and for, is to gain access to life-sustaining resources. Because we have permitted this transition to take place from the kind of natural way of doing things to the way man decided it should be done, we have opened up a descent into hell, or we have activated a descent into hell. Will everybody experience it? No, of course not. Not all at the same time. But over time, we're going to, more of us will be descending into hell. Shortages of food, shortages of jobs. Remember, we can't go outside anymore and merely pick a piece of fruit off the tree. So what are we going to do? They have ordinances that say that you can't dig a well in your yard in the city limits. What you going to do? In Flint, Michigan, if you know, they had contaminated water. And the city wants them to pay for it. But they have to buy bottled water too. They caught in a state of hell. There are people in different parts of the world that have nothing to eat. Why? Is it that particular area, that region doesn't produce food? No, that's not the case. Their soil has been contaminated. The food that would yield in their area has been destroyed or contaminated, so it won't yield anymore. We are descending into hell. Now, what I need you to pay attention to here before I close this video is that group, that select little group, the members maybe of the Illuminati. Pay attention. Pay attention. They are aware, they were generations and generations and generations ago, that the natural way of doing things was the standard, required way. No exceptions. The standard, required way of living in this earth has not changed in millions and millions of years. Life takes care of itself. They knew it. And so, what they did was figure out a way to, again, contain the resources so that me, you, everybody in humanity would develop a dependency on them to let us work so that we could get some water and some food and some shelter, knowing very well that eventually we would be manipulated into a place where a place of desperation. See, we don't know all the real facts that exist associated with some of these other places that have food shortages. We only know what we're told. And so, if we eat or if we drink depends upon their generosity. If ever they don't feel like being generous, if ever you get frail or fragile and you are of no use to them anymore, then what will you eat? Where will you live? Because for certain, those people, those members, they know that they have opened up the gates of hell and that people and humanity are going to start dropping off into it because they cannot meet the demands of man, the price that man wants us to pay for the natural life-sustaining resources that God and this earth offered us fairly freely. All it asked us to do was to work just a little bit. Anyway, thank you for coming to Can Angels Fly for this part of Descent into Hell series. Bye-bye.